Hey there, it's Faith Talk Live. I'm Rick Probst.
And I'm Dan Ratcliffe. Look
What
who's
we-
back.
Yes, we love hanging with this gal, Grammy-nominated producer, multi-platinum certified vocal coach, Jan Smith. Jan, how are you?
Woohoo! I'm doing good. I'm hanging. I'm hanging in the balance. That's what I'll say.
Hanging in the balance.
Yeah.
All right, I got to start out with, there's so much stuff we want to talk about, but I saw a Mama Janism, and I love this. It's on her Facebook page. Don't change who you are because of who others are not. Very nice. Is that something you've experienced and you pulled that out of your heart, or?
It got beat out of my heart, I think. No, I think that a lot of times in our industry, and especially because of social media, people comparing themselves to everybody else. The inclination is, I need to be something different. I need to be somebody else. And the truth of the matter is, no, you don't. You need to be who God created you to be, and to be excellent at that. Yeah. So we're always, thinking, well, is there something else I could do, or shoulda, woulda, coulda? It's like, no, be the best at who you are. And really to encourage young artists that I work with, and older artists too, to not feel like they're not enough. They are enough. And to really accentuate that versus feeling like because of who somebody else isn't to you, or couldn't be, or couldn't rise to the occasion, don't let that drag you down to their level. Always maintain your excellence.
Yeah. And that's a good word, because especially with artists and people who are more creative, we tend to compare ourselves to others and think, oh, I'm not as good as that person is, but we don't look at what God has given us and how he's gifted us in certain ways, right?
Absolutely. And that's, I think the comparison thing is what really makes us think we're not worthy, or we're not good enough. Or sometimes other people drag you down. They let you down. They're not who they said they would be to you, and that can create problems for us internally as well. And just because other people are not responsive, or not doing the same things, that if you're giving a lot of yourself and other people just aren't responding to that, it doesn't mean that you should show up and not, give. You should still give and be who you are in it.
Yeah.
Talking with Jan Smith. Jan, when you start working with an artist or artists, is that one of the first things you cover with them? Say, hey, look, just relax, just be yourself?
It's probably one of the first things, but that's constantly kind of an undercurrent theme in artist development, because I'm shepherding people's souls at the same time while I'm working with their talents, and helping them to be better people is going to make them better artists. So if they're solid in who they are and what they're doing, they're going to perform better. They're going to, be able to achieve that level of excellence with their talents as well.
Jan Smith, and Mama Jan, also known as Mama Jan. And I always love seeing your Instagram posts, because you're always talking about your baby singing everywhere.
Everywhere.
You got one singing on American Idol right now. Tell us about that. That's exciting.
Yeah,
Willie Spitz is first of all, he's a native Georgian, which is kind of a cool thing for me, because so am I. I'm a native Atlantan, actually, but Willie, I met him through one of my other clients, a longtime client and friend of mine, Keisha Garland, who was working with the 4-H clubs, and I went down to do a vocal masterclass and met Willie there several years ago. And he was just a naturally talented kid that had this voice. And when you see that, when you hear that, that it comes from a place that, it's just God ordained. I mean, that when Willie said he was just born to do this, that's really true. He is born to sing and just to perform and offer his voice up as a gift. Yeah. So I met him there, and then a year or so after that, his manager called and said, "Hey, Willie really wanted you," because he remembered me from the 4-H thing, and said he's getting these callbacks, and would you please help prep him for this show? And I said, absolutely. I mean, I prepped a bazillion people for those shows, but Willie's just he's an honest talent, and it's been a really cool thing to watch him and to help him really get his form. He's a natural singer, so he didn't really know what all he had or what he was doing with it. He was just putting it out there. So helping him to be more solid has been my game with him, and I'm real excited for him. But short story, sidebar. I was working with him one night, and my mother was sitting in the living room. I said, "Hey, Willie," I said, "you know that song, My Eyes on the Sparrow?" He
Mm.
said, "Yeah." I said, "Sing a little bit of that." And I took my phone in and showed, let him sing to my mother. And it just thrilled her. So now she is addicted to American Idol. Well, Willie song. So it's pretty cute. Yeah.
It's been fun watching him because, when I first saw him come on and then this voice came out of him, I was like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh,
Yeah.
wow. And it
Yeah.
just comes from a place that, like you said, it's natural. He was born to do it. It's not
Yeah.
something that he has really worked hard on. I don't think. I mean, he's worked, but it's not like he's forced it. It's
Right.
natural for him. Yeah.
It is natural. And he's like I said, he's just a natural singer. So working with him to get the underpinning parts that he really hasn't had,
Mhm.
to help him be sustainable. The truth of
Yeah.
the matter is, once our industry hits you, it's kind of like being hit by a freight train.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Willie's he's not ready for that. And
Right.
so helping him to build the underpinning, the foundation that he really kind of didn't get, is
Mhm.
helping him to be sustainable with all the demands that are, going to be placed on him. I think that I'm really thrilled that the American people and people at large have gravitated, towards him, and are
Mhm.
really seeing his gift, and acknowledging that, because he's an incredible singer, and deserves this opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, I think part of it's the humility that he
Mm.
exudes. He just seems so unassuming, but he's so fun to watch. So yeah, love it. Love
Hey,
it.
thank God you went through those bumps and bruises, because you're taking care of all those kids, uh, old kids, young kids, whatever, so that they don't have to go through the same bumps and bruises.
Right.
Thanks for
Sure.
getting thanks for getting there. And I'm sure it's constantly a challenge. Jan Smith, Grammy-nominated producer, multi-platinum certified vocal coach. We love hanging with her. Not only does she work with some amazing folks, she has a project out, and I hope this doesn't offend you, but when I listened to the video, I mean, I've never heard you sing, and I
Mhm.
thought, my gracious, that voice. And so, all right, I'm an old rocker guy, okay, and so
I'm an old rocker chick, so
I love the reason why I love like Bonnie Raitt is
Mm,
because, of course, of the blues part. But when
right.
she sings, she's got a soul in there, and I don't know how to describe it, but it grabs me. And
Mhm.
as I was listening to you, and there's no comparison, but to hear you had that thing, and I was like, wow, when she does that, that's that Bonnie Raitt thing getting me right there. So, my gracious, let's talk about that. Where did Breathe come from?
Well, first of all, shout out to Bonnie Raitt. I used to open for Bonnie and Delbert McClinton when I was 18 years old. So
Oh,
there you
wow.
go.
Wow.
Uh,
Wow.
um, it's interesting, because a lot of people in my own industry don't even they don't know that I'm a singer, because they know me as Mama Jan, the vocal coach, and that's where my services have been utilized, and as a producer. I have a lineage as an artist in this industry. I cut my first record when I was 15. So I was touring and playing on stages and opening for Atlanta Rhythm Section and stuff like that, and doing studio work and putting background vocals down and cutting my own albums before half my artists were even born.
Right.
So a lot of the people in the industry, they haven't known that part of my career succession. And that's okay with me now. It didn't used to be. But so I have 6 albums and 2 EPs out as an artist myself, and um, in the last 16 years anyway of my current location and the production studio, I realized I had not even produced any of my own music in my own studio.
Mhm.
So Jesse and I were going through some tracks and some hard drives, getting things organized before we moved, and we found these tracks that Peter Vogel, who's he's my guitar player with me in my bands for 25 years. He also teaches at the studio, but we had laid these tracks down on this song "Breathe" a couple of years ago, and I thought, you know what, I'm just going to come in one day and sing and finish this dadgum song. There's been so much heaviness for all of us throughout this pandemic, and watching my mother be in the hospital having a stroke, struggling to breathe, so many other people, the word breathe just uh, with a lot of what's gone on in our world, in our communities, certainly with the civil issues, not being able to breathe, being ill, people being killed. Breathe is just such an important thing. The breath of God, period, in us all is so vital. And this song speaks to that. When you asked me where it came from, it was written a couple of years ago, but it came out of my angst at the time and just needing to know that God was close and that He would just breathe on me,
Mhm.
so that I could, breathe too, and
Mm.
to continue to let that be the succession of my own air, if you will. So that's really kind of the motivation for the song and where it came from, but the timing of it and the release of it was like, okay, my mother's going to be 92 the week after Easter. Easter's coming up. Everybody needs to take a deep breath and back up and kind of go,
Sure.
whoa, who are we here? What are we doing with each other? How am I loving my neighbor? What is
Yeah.
the resurrection really about? And I thought this is the perfect time to put it out. And my friend and brilliant artist, Mill Cannon, put together that lyric video um, through all of my editing, and turned out, I believe, a thumbprint for what I wanted it to say. So I dedicated it to my mom and put it out for her birthday. There you
Oh,
go.
That's
awesome.
beautiful.
And what was your mom's reaction when she saw it and listened to it?
Well, if you look on my Instagram, you'll see her with headphones on, which is such a funny picture of me.
Mhm.
She was, I mean, laughing and crying at the same time because
Yeah.
when she put on the headphones, it made her really hear it and surround. And she's not used to that kind of audio world. And
Right.
so it surprised her and also just really touched her deeply. So it did what it was supposed to do.
Awesome. Very
Dan, can we play just a
Yeah,
clip
let
of
me just give me a second to pull it up
while
here.
he's doing that? While he's doing that, Jan, I know they can listen to it on your Facebook, but where else can they get it? Is it
Oh, it's on YouTube.
okay?
Yeah, if you go to Mama Jan Music on YouTube and go to my channel, you'll find it.
All
Just
right. Well, here I'll go ahead and hit play. We'll listen to a couple minutes of it and
woohoo.
enjoy "Breathe" by Mama Jen.
Breathe on me, Holy God. Stop the bleeding from my wounded heart. I am broken. I am bruised. I'm worn out, Lord. I need your refuge. So breathe on me, Holy God. Set my spirit free from all want. I surrender all I am. Help me walk alone in your light again and
Love it.
Love it. Love it. Love
Jan
it.
Smith. It's called "Breathe." You can
Thank
see
you.
it. You can see it on YouTube. Jan, the part where you said "from my wounded heart," and then "I am broken," right in there. That's that part I was talking about for me. And I
Yeah.
was like, wow.
Yep, yep.
That's
Beautiful vocals. Love it.
yes.
Mhm.
Mama Jan Smith. I noticed, Dan, did you see we had a couple of comments. Anita Renfro commented that she loves us and loves Dan. Somebody else, who was the other one? I don't remember.
Trudy Simmons was listening. Larry Walton says amen. Lots of folks listening. So thanks so much for listening. And Anita, you need to get back on with us. We love you, girl.
Hey, I sent her an email, so she'll be back on. We're talking to Jan Smith, Grammy-nominated producer, multi-platinum certified vocal coach, and artist. JanSmith.com is a great place to go to. I did notice that, and I just flash read it. Jan, you said something about just missing hanging with the congregation, and you ran down to Passion and dropped off a check and just had a little time because you're missing that moment. How'd that feel to you?
To be back in church for the first time, not in church, but going to the church, just was a way to kind of reconnect and to feel some sense of community, because we've all been separated for so long and not being able to actually be in the house. I just needed to do that, and it happened to have been on a Above and Beyond Sunday where people were giving above and beyond their normal tithing. I just wanted to deliver my check in person. I felt like it was just something I needed to do. And Brad Jones, bless his heart, he, came running over to my car on the other side and masked up and all, and just stood there and asked me, he said, how are you doing? And I really hadn't talked with anybody about my mom having a stroke and the kind of personal pandemic for my family. I've been living with my mother off and on for a year now, providing caregiving. And you know what? Shout out to all the caregivers, because it is not for sissies. It's been the most grueling thing of my life, but the most grace-filled experience I've ever had to be able to care for my mother. And just, wow, what God teaches us in humility and literally washing somebody else's feet. You know what I'm saying? So, it was a blessing to be able to just to kind of pour my heart out to Brad and to have somebody stand there and pray with me. It just gave me something to go off of. I don't know how to say it any other way, but it really, I don't know, it was a connective tissue that I needed at the time. It was the fascia that kind of fed my faith.
Wow. We love hearing from you, Mama Jan, and I'm sure you talk about this last year, and I was going to say, what'd you learn from it? Well, that's what you've learned is humility and just serving, and it's a little different when you're just so used to being busy and doing, and then you have to stop and think about somebody else a lot constantly. It's a learning experience, right?
It is, and it's a challenging experience, and all. I mean, we didn't really even know that my mother was going to live to be 91, much less 92, because of, the nation shutting down 2 days after she had a stroke. We brought her home to rehab her, and then now she can't live alone, but she's rehabbed pretty well. And it's just been, it's been a challenge for my family. It's been, like I said, a very demanding thing. And then as my business picked up and I had, to work, I'm working virtually and then moving my studio, it's been just like, okay, Lord, what else you gonna hit me with? Let's kind of keep this ball rolling. So I'm just grateful, and I'll ask your listeners to to continue to pray for me. I appreciate being lifted up in prayer, because it is challenging. It's challenging for a lot of people in my industry who lost everything in a minute. And at least my business and my staff were able to go virtual, and we've been like covered up with business, which is just a gracious thing, but learning how to balance within it. And like you said, the humility, it's been a very humbling experience. And also just my heart has been broken for so many people who are struggling so much greater than me. I mean, it's been challenging, but wow, God has provided in amazing ways for my mother and my family. So grateful for that.
Jan Smith, the Grammy-nominated producer, multi-platinum certified vocal coach, and she's also in the Georgia Hall of Fame. Jan, we always treasure the times we get to hang with you.
Thank you so much.
When you tell that mama, or give her a big kiss, because we love seeing her on there. And she is a beautiful girl, I got to tell you.
Yeah.
jansmith.com is a great place to go to. And hey, listen and pass along the video we just saw.
Mhm.
It is called
Thank
Breathe.
you.
It is on YouTube. And Jan, we look forward to talking to you maybe in the summertime. Yeah, you know, moves are difficult, so we're praying for you through this entire move. And
Thank you.
on the other side, we pray, just like the guy that gave the fish and the loaves, he got 12 baskets back. So we're praying that you get 12 baskets full of artists.
We'll be all right. We'll be okay.
On. All right, let's
Thank
do
you.
this. Let's take a break. We will be right back. I'm Rick Probst.
And I'm Dan Ratcliffe.
This is Faith Talk Live.
Thank you, guys.